Welcome everyone to the masterclass of this week. I'm going to go here to my own website. We are going to talk about how to create yes reactions and emotional responses on your website, which is super important. But I'm just going to give a quick introduction for those who have not joined any of these classes or know what they're about. It's basically class I have every 2 weeks here in the Facebook group, and they will also be posted on YouTube. It's about helping you with anything that you need help with. So any topic that you would like to have me talk about or share some insight on, feel free to write to me. If you have any questions during or after class, feel free to write them to me, and I will tend to them as I go, or if I catch up on some comments afterwards, then I will of course reply to that. Hang on, I just realized I'm going to close this one. I see that I'm live. Okay, so that's all good. So what I want to talk about is basically how how to get people's attention. This is the big thing, and that's the thing I always talk about when we have a website. How do we make people actually connect with us, and how do we make them keep reading and so forth? There are a lot of strategies, and I share different ones in the last lives as well, and in my blog posts, in my social media. Those of you who follow me, you know I keep talking about the same things. But what I really wanted to focus on specifically today is how to create those yes reactions and how to get people to get like an emotional response, because when people feel something, that's when you get their attention. And one thing I always encourage people to do when they think about what to put on their website is to think about their own behavior when they are online. How, in all the things that you see online, how is it that you stop and pay attention to some of these things and that you don't notice other things? So what I would like to first is to kind of get out of your head in terms of how you are on your own website, and rather think about, okay, how do I behave online? What is it that makes me stop and read? And if you kind of pay attention to this the next few days, you will notice that most of the time when you pay attention to something, it's because it's something familiar to you, or it's something relatable, or it's something that you feel like, oh my god, yeah, this is something that I know about, or I want to learn about, or that I really can relate to. And we want to really incorporate this on your website in a way that when your potential clients, your ideal clients, come into your website, they get this reaction that, oh yeah, I feel something, I can relate to this. Just kind of a quick look at my notes here, because I can't remember everything exactly. So yeah, one thing of course that people are familiar with from marketing, for those of you who have kind of ventured out a bit and know about how to use some marketing strategies, I'm sure you have heard about the pain points. I always say I don't really like the words. I like rather to call it like relatable points, or what I call is like creating yes reactions and creating these emotional responses. Because what you want is to, first of all, make people feel that you understand them. And I'm going to give you, the reason I have my website open here is I'm going to show you different examples from different websites that I've been doing with my clients that I think are really demonstrating perfectly how this can work. So when you come into a website, usually there's like an opening message or opening statement. And you'll see this is mine. I have actually a little bit of a long one compared to what most of my clients have. I'm going to show you one from, this is a copywriter for people in the health sector. She doesn't have that much, but it's usually like a welcome message first, something that is very clear what you do, who you do it for. You have here as well as kind of a coach who helps you become the leader and so forth. And this is all good, nice to have a welcome message, but very soon after the welcome message, you will have what I call either the points that people feel like, wow, this is really reflecting my situation, in terms of you see the words and you go like, oh my god, yeah, this is my situation, or this is how I feel, or like, oh yeah, this is exactly my problem. Sometimes it can be even in a bit of a humorous way, so that people don't feel judged. Because the thing I don't like is that some people will use these so-called pain points to almost shame people for what problem they have, and that is absolutely not a way to go, in my opinion. I think it's all about just saying, hey, I know where you're at, I know your situation, I'm not judging it. Maybe you have been in that situation yourself. A lot of coaches in particular have gone through a journey that they can share with others, and they can really feel, know the feeling you have in this moment, whatever it is that you're struggling with, and just basically use these yes messages to make people feel like, okay, this person really understands my situation, this person understands me, this person won't judge me, and this person can help me. So I'm just going to focus first a little bit on kind of some of the points that people have that's like, okay, yeah, I can recognize this is my situation. I'll start with my own website. I have here, what's your website situation? And I'm reflecting here 3 situations that are very typical for my clients. That some people, they don't have a website, or they have something but they're not quite comfortable with it, not really fully comfortable putting it out there. I hear a lot of people say, it's like, oh, I'm a bit embarrassed to show people my website because it's not the way I want it to look. Some people say, it's like, oh, I never really feel I get it right. I'm not getting my message through here. And like the technical part, this is very typical. It's like weird things keep happening and you have no clue why. This one is like, bah, this happens to everyone who either builds their website themselves or even those who have someone help them with their websites. There are technical stuff happening along the way. So I'm using this on my website. I'm going to show you some other ones just to give you a little bit of an idea of how these sentences can look like for different businesses. And I'll talk a little bit at the end about how you can find out like what sentences will work for your website, because it's really not about copy pasting and adapting what you see on other people's websites. It's very tempting and feels safer, but eventually it's a little bit more work than just trying to guess kind of what is a good thing to put. So we'll cover that, but first I'm going to show you what these different people have as kind of relatable points. I really like this from Amy Harris. She really also has this sentence here. Does this sound familiar? These are for people in the health sector who really should keep up their blogging and so forth, but they never find time for it. And this is like a typical situation. They don't have time and energy left after long work days. So she's like, I know your days are really long. I know you kind of want to write something exciting, but then it's like, bah. And you're wearing too many hats. So she's even highlighted the things. So if people are a little bit distracted and don't read anything, just reading the ones in highlighted words would kind of relate to them as they go. It's like, I see this sentence and just imagining working in the health sector and being really stressed, I can just imagine they go like, yeah, this is absolutely my situation. And it's like, oh yeah, you're right. This is exactly when I finally find the time. How do I find the words? I have just too much to do. You know, all of these create really good yes reaction. It doesn't make anyone feel bad, I think, more than to be like, yeah, this girl, she knows my situation. So it's kind of connecting in the sense that, okay, I want to keep reading, like she knows really about this. And I'm going to show you here on Karina's website. It's also, she has some really great points. She starts with not so much like the problems they have now, but a little bit more like, this is what you want. This is also the second part. I think, okay, you can focus on people's situation and in terms of their struggles, or kind of the little bit negative thing they feel that they want help with. But you can really also focus on the positive, as in, this is where I want to go. So finding a good balance between that, so it's not too much of one or the other, is really the key. So she starts here with like, this is what you want, you know, confident, decisive, accomplished. When I was in corporate still, I can totally relate to this. I wanted to be all these things, and I did feel stuck, frustrated. I didn't feel that I was moving ahead, that I wasn't really getting anywhere, and that you know, the work I did was good. Everyone was happy about it, but no one really kind of rewarded me with a promotion, and I didn't really know how to take the action myself to move on. So anyone who's kind of looking for a better career, I'm sure those of you who come from corporate can really recognize these things. So you go like, I find yourself like this, this, this. And her client, she knows them really well. She knows that these are the words they use. And this definitely creates those yes reactions. Like, yeah, I do feel stuck. I do feel trapped in a routine I don't like, you know. So that is something that you can use on the homepage. It's very often used. This is also still Karina's website. But using these strategies also on your Work With Me page or service page works really well. She starts here with a testimonial, which is great, gives some credibility. But here is like particularly to people who want the career acceleration. She has 3 different services here. So each of her service pages actually start with 3 points that are very relatable. Tired of seeing others being promoted ahead of you, very familiar for so many people. And all of this, yeah, in a big organization, like, where do you even start? So all of this creates that thing a little bit. It's like, yeah, this is me, this is my situation, all right. How can I get out of it? This is what kind of makes people want to keep reading and want to read about your services. I always say that it's really good to write about your services, but if you connect with people's situation right now, before that, they're much more paying attention to the services, because I'm like, okay, she really knows what I'm in, what can she do for me? And here it comes like, okay, here are my solutions, here are my my programs, and here's how to contact me. So it kind of brings people into really wanting to pay more attention to your services when you start with a little bit of these relatable points. I'm going to show you also some other websites, just show you different ones so you can see how different people do it, because it's not 100% right way to do it. Here she starts really with statement more than a question. She knows that this is where her clients are, and she has it even before scrolling, which I think is great. You come in, it's very clear what she does, and it's focused on here. It's like, what if you could? She gives them orders like, what if you could manage to deal with this? And people is like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. Straight to the call to action. She's in a place in her business where this works really well, that she just tried to get people straight on a call. And you can see further down, she's not talking so much like deeply about like the pain points here, but further down for people signing up for her freebie, here you have a list of kind of situations that people will go, yeah, are you stuck, stalled, da, da, da. A little bit similar to what Karina had in terms of talking to people who are in corporate. But yeah, you can read these sentences, and her clients who are in these situations, they will really go, it's like, yeah. And that way, when you have this kind of, okay, yeah, I know, this is me, I should probably do something with it. She has a little bit here on her service page as well. Here, throughout the website, you can keep kind of using it in a nice balance. You have to see what works for you and for your business. So don't take any of these examples as the way to do it. It's really a strategy that everyone has to just adapt a little bit to what their potential clients will be okay with. I'm going to show you one who is kind of quite heavy on the points, which has even almost a table format. It's not working for everyone, but for his particular client, and they're quite corporate and everything, it's okay. So here he has like, are you in this situation? And the kind of like, do you want to? In the sense, this is what he knows that they want to feel like. This is what they want to achieve after kind of overcoming these different challenges they're in right now. So, and also the call to action to have the the relatable points. Here are my services, here's my call to action. And she really here pinpoints, not pain points, pinpoints, the things that are going on in the minds of our clients. Like, yeah, they want to become a global leader, and then like these are the things that they have in their mind, and writing it here will be something that connects with your audience. So she continues here as well a little bit as well here, moving them from like this is situation to like this is what you want to do, this is what you want to be, and straight to her like services 1, 2, 3, where people can read more. And yeah, I'm going to show you another few websites because it's just nice to see what different people do. I'm going to go on to Jackie's website. She came to me with her old website, and she says like, I am quite wordy, I have a lot of things I want to say, and I don't really want to reduce all the text. So we found a way for her to still kind of say all the things she wanted to say, but make it digestible. And a lot of people come to her and say they really relate to everything she says on her website. So it really works with this. She actually starts her homepage like this with all these questions that will create that reactions like, yep, this is me, this is my situation, very relatable, and then go into some benefits. And she has also, I think, on her service pages, she also does this thing in the particular 3 areas. She also has like 3 or 4 service areas, which most of you might have more than one. So here's also the questions that people think like, yes, this is me. And in spite of it, kind of her page. Okay, so I'm just continuing here on a new live since the previous one got cut off. Just a couple of more websites that I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I'm going to show you one more page which I think is really, really good on these points. It's very straight to the point, quite simple and easy. It's very clear what she does. She's a person in Barcelona helping people find the right school for their child. Because she was through this process herself, she learned a lot of things. And now she's just stating some facts here for people that would be her ideal client. People who are living and planning to move to Barcelona, need help finding the right school, find it hard to choose between the varieties. Like, yep. And going straight into kind of why she's doing what she has, and here are the services. It's a really great way to start a website, just very simple, to the point, and it connects right away with people to the point like, I am definitely in the right place. This is what the message across as to her perfect clients. You can also do a super easy one like here. It's more of a sales guy kind of thing. And he just has a very simple one. Is this going through your mind, very often? question 1, 2, 3, and he knows that these are exactly the questions that go through. So just click here, learn more. This is exactly it. See here the question mark here. Okay. So what I wanted to kind of cover is basically how can you find out what works for you and for your clients, because it's not really about sitting at home trying to guess what people would like to hear. It's not about sitting there and trying to figure things out on your own. It's not really about looking at what your competitors do. Of course, it's really good to see what your competitors do, just to see how they present themselves, to get inspired in sense like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that, that might be a good idea, and so forth. But what it really comes down to is that you think about either people you have worked with already or people that you already help. Like you have a talent, that's why you start a business, and very often we help people even before we have clients. You've been helping family and friends and colleagues and who knows what. Just think about anyone that you are helping with the thing that you're good at helping with. What are the things they keep saying? I'm sure that when you think about them explaining their situations and their desires and their wishes and what they wish was and what isn't, and how is the feeling they have now and what is their trouble and so forth, you will recognize there are a few sentences and words that all of these people will repeat. Like in my case, people talking about website really is like, you know, they have no clue. This is a word a lot of people do. It's like, I have no clue about technical stuff. I'm embarrassed to share my website. These are words that so many people say, so I know that these are words that go through the mind of my client. So you have to find out by either thinking, well, both ideally, thinking about conversations you have and have had with your clients. What are the words that keep repeating? Talk to new people, potential clients or current clients, and just ask them how they would describe their situation, what they want to achieve, and really listen to the words, because you don't need to invent anything yourself. What you need to do is basically repeat the things that they tell you. So if you see that out of 5 people, they use some of the same words to describe their situation in terms of where they are at and what they're struggling with and where they want to get to, write those words down and make them show on your website. This is kind of the clue and the trick to everything, that we don't need to come up with so much new stuff for our website. It's already there from our actual clients, from the target market or niche we're working with. You can also search on Google to just see, you know, we have Reddit, for example, where people ask questions. You have Facebook groups where people ask questions. You can ask questions, you know, in your own Facebook group if you have one, and use other people's Facebook group and just see, it's like, hey, you know, if you have this situation, how do you describe your problem? What is this and what is that? And people will actually be very helpful with these things. Everyone loves to talk about their problems. So take advantage of that to reach out to different places you can get that information, so that you sit on a little collection of phrases and sentences that you know are widely used, and find out where you can use them on your website. Like I showed in this live here, good places on the homepage, quite high up, to make people really intrigued to keep reading about your services and feel that you know what you're talking about, not just about what you can provide, but where they're at. And on the Work With Me page is also really good. Some of them you can also incorporate a little bit on your About page if it works with the story you tell there. You can also use blog posts. It's a great material for blog posts. And yeah, just take advantage of kind of all the information you actually have in front of you, and maybe you don't even know. When you start thinking about it, I'm sure that like have a paper. I usually do that, leave a paper on my kitchen bench or something. Whenever something comes to my mind, it's like, oh yeah, it's mostly when you don't think about it that you suddenly remember things like, oh yeah, I remember this person just said that, or I just had a conversation with a client yesterday and she talked about this and this situation, and I think, well, she's not the only one with that situation. A lot of people have that situation, like which words did she use to describe it, and just always kind of keep a little bit your mind open for sentences that you know can be used for your website, for your content that you have everywhere, but also for blog posts. It's actually really good for blog posts. Every kind of pain point and relatable situation is something that you can use as a resource for that as well. So it comes in handy for so many areas. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share today. I will see if I can dare to go in here and see what if I see anything. We'll see. Hoping that it was more or less okay, even though I got cut off. If you have questions, as usual, I will let you have an answer in. If there are comments, I will reply to them after the live, or you can post in the group and ask questions. And thanks for joining me. Those of you who are online, I really appreciate it. So yeah, that's it. Enjoy your evening, everyone, and you know where to go if you have website questions in the group, or reach out to me directly. Always welcome to connect with you. Ciao!